let's focus on UiPath that we use as the main automation engine at RobosizeME. UiPath is a comprehensive platform that consists of three key components: a studio, orchestrator, and assistant. UiPath Studio is a development environment that allows the developers to create, test, and deploy their automation workflows. UiPath Orchestrator is a web-based management console that helps us govern, monitor, and deploy automation scripts. And the UiPath Assistant is a middleman lightweight desktop application that allows users to interact with automation workflows and execute tasks. And it also provides connectivity between the orchestrator and the working station where the deployed automations run, which leads us to connectivity options. There are several possible setups, but let's explain the two most common that we use. The first one is RobosizeME hosted, which means that everything is running on RobosizeME infrastructure. We have our virtual machines that our automations use as a working environment, and the clients whitelist our IP address so that we are able to access their systems and applications from our environment. The second option is client hosted, and it means that the client provides us with a working station, some virtual machine, where we install UiPath Assistant and we connect it to our orchestrator so that we are able to allocate our license to that machine and run the automation jobs there. Of course, both options have their own advantages and disadvantages, and it's important to choose the one that best suits your organization's needs and requirements. When it comes to the question of security, it's important to mention that even though process automation is at its early stage of adoption in hospitality, it has already been adopted by some of the biggest companies and institutions in sectors where data protection and IT security is really important topics, such as banking or healthcare. And that is partly because it is a non-invasive and secure technology built on top of existing systems without any need to adjust them. But it is still important to follow security best practices, such as access control, meaning that the automation scripts and workflows should only be accessible by authorized users, and multi-factor authentication should be in place to prevent any unauthorized access. Another important aspect of access control is the principle of least privilege, which means that the automation scripts should only be granted access to applications and data that they need to perform their tasks. This way, we reduce the risk of any unauthorized access to sensitive data, and we minimize the potential impact of security breaches. This goes hand in hand with data protection. It's important to only collect and process data that is necessary for the function of the automation and to minimize any data residency. For example, at RobosizeME, any client data is deleted straight after processing. And all sensitive data also needs to be encrypted so that the data is only accessed by authorized personnel. There are several ways to look at the typology of automations, and one of them is the distinction between the attended and the unattended automations. Attended, or so-called human-in-the-loop automation, work alongside human users. It helps to automate repetitive tasks, typically in real time. These bots are triggered by user input or events that can interact, and it can interact with applications on that user's machines. On the other hand, the unattended automations work independently of human users. They don't require any human supervision during their execution, and it makes them ideal for automating batch processes or tasks that require 24/7 availability, or, for example, execution during nights. These scripts are typically scheduled to run at specific times, or they can be triggered by events, and there are countless event types that can trigger them. For example, UiPath offers integration services, which enable us to integrate the unattended automations and their triggering with other systems and applications such as SAP, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, or Google Workspace environment. And it allows us to create triggers that can start a job, for example, when a record is changed or created, when an email with specific parameters is received, or, for example, when a file is uploaded to OneDrive or G Drive. When we talk about data processing, we can categorize data into three groups. That is structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. The structured data can be processed using rule-based data extraction without using any advanced intelligent automation tools. These are, for example, Excel documents, standardized text documents, or emails and forms that have fixed templates, and they do not change or have many variations, which makes them easily extractable using, for example, regular expressions. Semi-structured data, they do not have a consistent format, but they still contain some sort of structure, such as headers, footers, or tags. Typical examples of semi-structured data are invoices, purchase orders, or insurance claims. Processing semi-structured data can be challenging because it requires identifying and extracting relevant information from the different parts of the document. So some intelligent automation tools are needed for this, such as optical character recognition and natural language processing. We use optical character recognition to recognize text from the scanned documents and the natural language processing to then extract information from the text. In addition to these two technologies, also machine learning algorithms can be trained to automatically classify and categorize semi-structured data based on their content. And this is so-called model-based data extraction. The last data type is the unstructured data. These are, for example, contracts or some random emails or posts. Outside of the tools that we already mentioned, like optical character recognition and natural language processing, in order to extract these, it usually requires a combination of advanced techniques like AI, deep learning, or computer vision. We can use computer vision to extract the information from images, scanned documents, or photographs, and these can be then analyzed and interpreted with the help of AI and document understanding. One of the latest examples of use of these technologies is the recent boom of OpenAI's ChatGPT that can also, of course, be easily implemented with process automation using API. And this way we can analyze any sort of unstructured text and generate comprehensive responses or summaries.